Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day 3 in our new series, Wrong Reasons Why People Marry. I'm excited to come your way today with this reason number 3, wrong reason number 3, why people marry. And today we are discussing external validation. We are discussing external validation. So wrong reason number 3 why people marry is external validation. And external validation in romantic relationships refer to seeking approval or external approval, recognition or affirmation from others. And these people you seek approval from may be your family, maybe your friend, maybe the society. And right now we are in the social media age. It could even be your virtual friends. You only know on social media. You might be seeking their approval, of the woman or the man you want to marry. And, to feel good about yourself and your relationship. Instead of deriving confidence and satisfaction from the relationship itself, and personal feelings, individuals seek validation from outside sources. And there are a lot of ways that these things happen. It could be by matchmaking comments. Sometimes people just look at you too and say, hey, you could make a great couple. And sometimes without you having a personal chemistry about the person who is in front of you, you might engage into a relationship not based on personal convictions, not because you have a strong love or you see some compatibility between you two, but just because people like to see you together or because family wants you to be together, you might end up marrying that person. Let's look at some few situations in the Bible. And I just want to look at those to clear some nuances which might be existing because I believe that it is possible. It is possible for somebody to, propose someone to you to marry. It's very possible. And I believe too that you don't just marry that person because he or she has been proposed to you. You should equally have a personal chemistry, for that particular person and reasons beyond what is being proposed to you. Because if you are just depending on what others say or what others think, and that would be your basis for marrying that person, then you are entering into a wrong marriage. In fact, you are marrying the person you're marrying for the people who propose her or him to you. I believe that in as much as people can propose to you, people can tell you the good qualities about somebody, people can kind of get you to discover or to know someone, you should be able to have personal reasons to be able to initiate or, take a relationship to a level that will lead to marriage. Now let's look at some few things in scriptures. In Genesis chapter 3, in Genesis chapter 3, when Adam had sinned against God by eating of the fruit, when God came to him, he made a declaration. He kind of made a disclaimer to God. He said, I ate this because of the woman you gave me. You can read that Genesis chapter 3, 12, 13, verses 12 and 13. Adam was telling God, you gave me this woman. And that this woman is the one responsible because she's the one who gave me the fruit, and I ate it. And now, looking forward, we get to Proverbs chapter 18, verse 22. I enjoy a great statement there in the scriptures. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 22. The Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. I know of Bible, another scripture which says that a good wife, it can only come from God. a good wife can only come from God. Does that really just mean that we have to sit and wait for God to show us a good wife, by a dream or a vision or something? To an extent, yes, but more so, we have to be careful because our feelings, our infatuation, the lust we have for someone can create things in our subconscious, and these things can come back in the form of dreams or visions or revelations, and those things can be very misleading. And here in Proverbs chapter 18, the Bible talks about finding a wife. And finding requires a search. And a search equally requires you should know what you are looking for. And for you to know what you're looking for, you need to know who you are. You take it backward to you. For you to find something, you need to do a search. For you to search, you need to know what you are looking for. And for you to know what you are looking for, you need to know who you are. And that's where marriage begins. It begins with self-discovery. If you don't discover who you are, your personality, your temperament, your life's mission, the vision that God has for you, the particular assignment you have in this life, or your specific dreams about your business life, your financial life, your career, your vocation, your ministry, you need to tap into these mysteries to understand who you are and why you are here and where you are going to. You need to do this self-discovery, because if you don't do this self-discovery, you would not know what you need or who you need as a life partner. And sometimes many people go out looking for a life partner without first of all making a self-discovery. And that is why somebody gets married today, and after a short while, that person starts telling you, I made a big mistake, because the woman I have in my house or the man I have in my house, we don't flow together. They are anti everything that I do. They oppose my business, they oppose my ministry, they oppose my career, and all of that. And sometimes we think that the devil is involved. Oftentimes, I don't think that most of these times is the devil who is involved. It's just somebody making a wrong choice because they never had a self-discovery. They didn't know who they are, their life's mission, their life's purpose, their ministry, their vocation, what drives them. They didn't have a self-discovery. They didn't even know their temperament. They didn't even know the specific character they have, their strengths and their weaknesses, and who is compatible to them as a life partner. So they went ahead, skipped some few steps, and then go into looking for someone to marry. And so when you first of all discover who you are, then you know what you want, then you can go out to search for what you want in order to find it. This is very, very important. Once you skip these steps, you may only realize that you are ending up with someone who is not supposed to be with you. Not necessarily because they are bad people, but just because they are not for you. And that's why you see somebody can get into a marriage which fails, and then he gets into a next marriage which works awesome, because the first one might have been an error where they went into without self-discovery, never knowing exactly what they were looking for, and so they ended up with any Mary or John or any Peter or Mark, just because they never had self-discovery. I'm saying this to say that for you to find, according to Proverbs chapter 18, verse 22, you need to know exactly what you're looking for. And for you to know what you're looking for, you need to know who you are. Now, let's take it a little bit further. Now, I believe that no matter who proposes or who validates a spouse to you, you should have personal reasons. You should have personal reasons why you want to marry that person. Inasmuch as family can propose, parents can propose, colleagues can propose, even your pastor can propose, your spiritual father can propose, your siblings, whoever, no matter who proposes to you or validates, someone for you, you really need to have personal reasons why you should marry that person. A scripture quickly comes to mind, Genesis chapter 24. In Genesis chapter 24, we find Eliezer, Abraham's servant, who goes to find a wife for Isaac. That's an interesting journey, right? Of course, in this generation, it's difficult to say this. All right, but there's something intriguing. Eliezer goes out. He has gone into a lot of covenant. He has gone into a lot of, prayers, and he had asked God for some signs. If I go and then find a woman who is like this and like that, who accepts to give me water, and then I would know she is the one. Eliezer goes into that kind of dealing with God. He finds Rebecca and takes Rebecca back as wife for Isaac. The Bible records that in Genesis chapter 24. Let me read some beautiful verses for you. In Genesis chapter 24 from verse 61, the Bible says, Then Rebecca and her attendants got ready and mounted the camels and went back with the man. So the servant took Rebecca and left. The man here is talking about Eliezer, and Rebecca is accompanying Eliezer to be the wife of Isaac. They have never met before. This we can talk of external validation. Okay? They have never met before, but Eliezer is bringing home a wife. He's not even just proposing, but has already married a wife for Isaac. But let's look at what happens to see that this is interesting. Now, Isaac had come from Beer Lahai Roi, for he was living in Negev. He went, as verse 63 of Genesis chapter 24 now, he went out to the field one evening to meditate, and he looked up. He saw camels approaching. Rebecca also looked up and saw Isaac. Now, this is interesting. Isaac is looking up to see. Rebecca is also looking up. Something is already happening. There's some chemistry going on here, some divine chemistry. That's what I'm going to call this. So Rebecca got down from her camel and asked the servant, Who is that man in the field coming to meet us? He is my master, the servant answered. So she took her veil and covered herself. Verse 66 of Genesis chapter 24. Then the servant told Isaac all he had done. Isaac brought her, Rebecca, into the tent of his mother Sarah, and he married Rebecca. Look at the comments. So she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. So it was not just about the external validation. There was some chemistry that was somehow mysteriously, immediately established between Rebecca and Isaac. Inasmuch as Isaac never met Rebecca before, but Eliezer brought Rebecca to him. Something got established between them, and it was not just because of those external validations of the prophecies being fulfilled, of God guiding, Isaac to go, Eliezer to go and find Rebecca. There was also a chemistry that was established between these two persons, between Rebecca and Isaac. What am I saying in essence? That if you have proposals, or people, your family, your friends, your colleagues, whoever proposes some people to you for marriage, you should also have something from your end. There should be something from your end. And there's one thing I believe, even for those who believe in visions and revelations of wives and life partners, if you believe in that, then I also believe that if it is God, then I should be able to have a confirmation from my end. I should be able to have a chemistry, something, a love, a personal reason why I'm, getting married to that person. Now, if you just depend on external validations, which could be from social media approval, constantly posting about a relationship on social media to receive likes, they make comments. The truth is that the social media is full of lies. And even in the community today, we are full of liars. People don't mean it when they say you look good. People don't even mean it when they say you dress good. Most people don't mean what they say. We have learned to lie to each other, and that is the new normal. That's the new normal. And it is going on because people like that you should flatter them. People like that you should tell them what they want to hear. They don't want you to tell them the honest truth. Even in the workplace, we keep lying every day. Even when people are unhappy, they pretend to be happy. When people, don't agree with what you are doing, they pretend to be happy because we think that when we pretend to people we are good, then that makes them look at us as being nice people. And social media has made it very, very complex. When you have to depend on how many likes, don't even depend on the photos you meet on social media, because most of them don't even look at the people who are behind those pictures, because there are a lot of photoshops or photo editing applications which are used to change people's faces, and when you meet them, they are not even up to 40-50% of what you saw on social media. So this approval could come from social media, they could come from the family members, they could come from, just status and prestige. You're looking at somebody's status, or the fact that they come from a good family background, or they have a good financial standing, they have a good social status. So that kind of validates them for being, a right person for you to settle down with. It could be peer comparison. Sometimes you find people trying to go into some unnecessary comparison. It could be public recognition, seeking opportunities to publicly display the relationship, to receive accolades and praise from others. It is important that before you settle down with somebody, it should be somebody you love. That's my personal philosophy. It should be somebody you choose. Even if somebody proposes that one to you, you should have personal reasons to marry that person, because that you're not going to live with the people who propose them to you. You're going to live you and that person who has been proposed to you. And whenever it is black, you're the one to see it. Whenever it is red, you're the one to see it. Whenever it is blue, you're the one to see it. So don't just go on people's validation. Have personal reasons why you want to marry that person. Your parents will not live with him or with her. Your siblings will not do so. No family member is going to be the one living with them. You are the one living with them. And this is a lifelong commitment, a serious commitment at that. And that's not something you just want to go through or jump into because someone told you that person was a good person. Be able to confirm yourself that that is a good person. Of course, they could be good people, but they are not compatible with you. The fact that they are not compatible with you doesn't make them bad people. Okay? And that's very important. That's why I began by talking about self-discovery. The fact that they are good to John doesn't mean that they will be good to Peter. Not necessarily because they are bad in any way, but just because they are not compatible. That's very important to note in relationship. So you have to be very careful. Even in professional circles, some people even marry for professional reasons. That's very funny. I want a business partner. I want somebody with whom we can be able to do ministry together. If that is all you're marrying for, I'm a singer, I want a singer. Okay, I'm an artist, I want an artist. I'm a teacher, I want a teacher. Okay, I'm a medical doctor, I can at least marry a nurse or a medical doctor and we can flow together. That may be business idea, but that is not enough reason for you to settle down with that person. What are the issues with marrying someone based on external validation? The first thing is that you're going to lack genuine connection because you never had a personal reason for marrying that person. And relationships that are built on external approval are unstable. They're unstable because they depend on changing opinions and perceptions rather than a solid internal bond that exists between these partners. Nothing is between them. And some of these relationships, every little thing they have, they behave like Adam. They said, the woman you gave me. The woman you gave me. The woman you gave me. They blame their friends for proposing the woman to them, or the man to them. They blame their uncles, their parents for hooking them up with that girl or with that man. And right now, they are not satisfied. They lack genuine connection. They are not happy in that marriage. And I will say this, marriage is like carrying a load. And you need to choose which load to carry. Marriage is like carrying a load. It's a responsibility, and you should be able to choose it with your eyes open, deciding exactly which kind of load you want to carry. So tomorrow you will not behave like Adam and tell God, the woman you gave me. Or tell your friends, your relatives, your colleagues, the woman you gave me. or the man you proposed to me. You told me this man was a good man. You told me this man was a great guy. But right now, what I have at home is an animal. It's a tyrant. He is brutal. And they will bear the brunt, or they will bear, you will blame them for entering into that relationship. The next thing you could find in such a relationship is unsustainable foundation. First, there was no real foundation. It was just based on people's opinion. So relationships built on external approval are unstable because they depend on changing opinions and the perceptions rather than a solid or internal bond between the partners. And the reason it is not very safe to marry someone because of people's opinion, their opinions can change. Their opinions can change. And when their opinions change, what are you going to do? Oh, right, we thought that this person was a good person, but we have found out that. So what are you going to do? You are already in the water. Are you going to continue swimming, or you are going to step out of it? You don't have to depend on people's, opinions. And it is not a healthy thing to marry because of external validation, because there will be emotional dependency. Emotional dependency. So reliance on external validation creates emotional dependency, making individuals vulnerable to others' opinions and judgments, which can fluctuate and be very unreliable. Your emotions will depend on other people. When they say they're happy with the person you marry, you're happy with them. When they say they're angry or they're not happy with them, you are not happy too with the person you're married with. And this is very important in families. Sometimes you see parents approve spouses for their children and try to get them together. And the next moment, this person has maybe tried to build up something with this person that was proposed to. And then all of a sudden, the emotions or the people who made the proposal, the parents said, no, we are no longer for this relationship. So what are you going to do? Your emotions are going to be depending on whatever they say. And of course, in this kind of relationship, it is not authentic. It is not authentic. It is fake. It is fake because you are marrying that person not because of your personal feelings, not because you have personal reasons for marrying that person, but just because people proposed him or her to you. And so it is not authentic. And you're going to have increased conflict and resentment. There will be a lot of conflicts in that relationship because you will always tell yourself, but I didn't come for you. Somebody told me about you. If it were my own personal opinion, I wouldn't find you. Yeah, but finally you decided to settle down with him, with her, because they proposed to you. And that is going not to make things work well. There will be neglect and personal, and there will be unhappiness, okay? Because if I didn't have a personal reason for marrying you, it will be difficult for me to take care of you. So if I have to depend on what people say, even that relationship, I will not be happy. And these kind of relationships equally have a greater risk of divorce. They have a greater risk of divorce because the two people who are together are two strangers. I'm of the opinion that you have to marry someone you know, at least to an extent. The truth is that you will never know everything about anybody. Even if you are married for 50 years, your spouse will still surprise you. And you should make allowance for that. If you are married even for 40 years, your spouse will still surprise you. You should make allowance for that. But at least there are some vital information you should be able to know about these people. And you should be able to appreciate. You should be able to know their personality. You should be able to know their character. You should be able to know their value system, at least to an extent. What do they value? What is their dream in life about? What is their purpose? What drives them? What is it that turns them on? What motivates them? What thing causes them to wake up every morning? Do they just wake up because it is daytime and everybody has to go out? That's why you look around and see so many people who are not compatible, but who are married together. I mean, when it comes to life's dreams, they are just opposite persons. You might have somebody who is an investor, gets married to a waster. Those are two situations that are difficult to manage. You might have somebody who thinks of, raising a family, and then you have that person married to someone who feels that it is better to have 3 or 5 pets at home. spending thousands of dollars on them or spending a lot of money. That is going to be a disaster because they are not compatible. You might have people who have those cultural values where they have a strong family attachment, married to another person who has no cultural value at all and has no strong family attachment and just thinks that marriage is a contract. That is why you don't marry, because somebody said you both look good together. Matchmaking comments. Just because you look good, both of you look good together, doesn't mean that you should settle down together. Yeah, it doesn't mean so. When I was single, I had a lot of people who would validate, you move around with a sister, maybe for evangelism, and then people start making comments. Oh, you'll both look good together. Yes, we look good together for evangelism. We are going to preach the word of our Father. And once we are done, we are done. That's so far we can go. Because that's so far. And I remember there's a lady who was so interested in me when I was single. And I told her, I love you so much as a sister in Christ. Yes, I love you so much. We can go around doing the evangelism. We can go around do a lot of other things. But when it comes to marriage, I don't have the chemistry. The chemistry is not there. The chemistry is not there. It's not because you are a bad person. It's not because I found any flaws in you. It doesn't just click. It doesn't just click. And sometimes it's difficult to even explain what you mean by clicking, or what that chemistry is. But when you find one, you understand what I'm talking about. There should be something, some affinity, some attraction, something that goes beyond just liking. That goes beyond just being comfortable in the presence of somebody, or that goes beyond just being good to work with someone. There's something that is more than that. There's something that goes beyond that. We may be good business partners, but we may not make good couple. We may be good ministry partners, but we may not make good couple. We may be good, in doing things together, moving around together, but we may not be a good couple. There should be some little thing, some little spark, some little thing that makes the difference between just liking you and loving you to have a relationship with you. And I told this person, it's not going to happen. Not because you're a bad person. Sincerely speaking, this person was a very, very good person. I might have a lot of maturity for a lot of things, but when it comes to relationship, that was not just my type. That was not just my type. And it doesn't matter how you try to fix it, try to patch it, it won't go. And that's why you need to know that marriage is not a spur of the moment thing or something that's going to last for 1 week or 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years. That's a lifelong commitment. And you should commit with somebody that you will wake up 30 years later beside that same person and you will still have a reason to stick with that person. You will still have a reason to stick with that person. Not just that some people told you are good together, or social media is pushing somebody on you because they think that you have been together and or your friends are saying, hey boy, you need to, and then we see that this one is good for you. They may see that one is good for you, but you need to see it yourself, that he or she is good for you. Please don't marry because people say it's good to marry that person. Marry because you have a personal reason. And I said at the beginning, before in Proverbs chapter 18, it says he who finds a wife, Proverbs 18:22, finds a good thing. And I said before you find, you need to search. And before you start searching, you must know what you are looking for. For you to know what you're looking for, you must know who you are. And know why you are here on earth. What is your purpose? What is your mission? What are you here to accomplish? Are you a ministry person? Are you going to take a career? What nature of career? Is it something that requires travel? You need to think a lot to be able to settle down with somebody that in the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, you'll look behind and say, yes, I made the right choice. Thank you. Thank you for following me on the 3rd episode of Wrong Reasons Why People Marry. Don't marry because of external validations. Marry because you have a personal reason. you have a strong reason to marry that person. Thank you, and see you in the 4th episode. God bless you. It has been your friend, Pastor Divine Naboko. Shalom.